I was one of the very first SOF TACPs ever in Air Force Special Operations Command. I was the number one selectee officially out of the first selection. And that led me into a career as the Chief of Weapons and Tactics at a very well-known squadron. And I had 6 overall deployments. I ran several programs. I was in kind of during the heyday, did 14 years before I had to kind of call it quits for medical reasons. And that really led to success overall, but I definitely felt a lack of resiliency and self-care over the years that, this has obviously helped a lot with. I think we define it normally as brain fog, but I just wasn't as mentally sharp as I used to be. So, I give the analogy of the fact that you could give me a 10-digit grid the day before and I could repeat it to you the next day, no problem. And then I got to the point where I'd open my phone to send a text message and couldn't remember who I was going to text. Definitely, I've seen huge gains forward over the 19 days now. But even after the first 4 days, I had this revitalized self of confidence that was really important to me. And my wife was on FaceTime with me and says your eyes are different, and she's very in tune with that kind of stuff, so it meant a lot to me. It worked really well for me, and I think that I'd say I had a B+ career, to quote a good mentor of mine, but it's very individualized in the fact that you get what you need here. Everything from the workouts to all your transcranial therapy and all that stuff, it's all very personalized to your needs. And I think that is important because we've discussed no 2 injuries is the same and no 2 guys' path is the same. So you do have to individualize it a lot, and I think you guys do that very well. That was probably where I was most apprehensive, to be honest. Being away for 19 days from what I do day to day, the fact that I was very nervous about leaving a gap there, and that's almost detracting from any type of therapy you're going to do. But the schedule here leaves I can get up at my normal time, get some stuff done, get people going. And there's plenty of time during the day that I can be in and around my phone. And then, the 2 to 3 days in the hyperbaric chamber is very, very easy to work into your schedule. Everything here for 19 days, it's perfect for somebody that's post-professional special operations. Way better than I could have asked for. Everything has been so low stress and just very easygoing. That's been a huge part. I almost feel like I've been on a spa retreat or something almost. We pushed ourselves in the workouts and they're programmed well. But as far as amenities, I don't know, anybody that's been out of the background we've been living in mud huts, this is more than just fine. Perfect. Honestly, I think everybody from Sabir to Mark, Bethany, Sydney, all of them, they're very in tune with what they're trying to accomplish here. And I think that team dynamic that's been created here is, I don't want to say unusual, but it is unusual. So the conglomeration of people and skills that you have fit what you're trying to accomplish, I think, very well. I bet you every night I'm texting one of my old friends saying, you have to come here. It's 19 days. You can still do everything you want, because that's the biggest thing is, just guys wanting help. It did take my wife to push me quite a bit to get into this program and, start getting help from the SOCOM Care Coalition. But I'm so happy that I did. So one of our tenets is respectable, approachable, and credible. And you meet every one of those tenets with this program and your staff here, for sure. Everybody's approachable, and even Mark knows, we give each other elbows all the time with a smile, and it's important because it feels good. I think when guys leave special operations teams, they're just so surrounded with all the testosterone and wanting to do more. And it's been great having Chad here. I'm not going to let Chad out do a workout, but you don't get that motivation daily after you leave the teams. So it's good to have other like-minded people in and around. For instance, today, just a rough work day that's just taxing. And, the other day, other people had a taxing work day, and it was good to be able to kind of talk each other through it at the same time of just getting these therapies. You get 90 minutes with somebody in the chamber, and you can learn a lot about them. For myself, I feel much more motivated to an extent and focused. I noticed probably 4th or 5th day, I was coming out of treatment after work and just nailing it, just getting after it after work. And it was wow, like I was really productive. And before, like a brain fog or, like the slightest noise would distract me and I'd have to put a lot of effort into staying focused, where I don't have that same amount of effort. And there's just like a kind of a weight lifted off of your shoulders and off of your brain, because we go through this thing of, like I know when I'm not performing at my best, and then that like spirals into guilt and all these other things. And there's, like, why? You're like, if I could do this thing, or maybe this is it. And it's been carefree to the point of I felt like I could finally focus on myself, and the returns were very fast. So it's not like 6 months of immersive psychotherapy or something like that. The returns were very quick. I think the oxygen and then the workouts and the magnetic therapy all go hand in hand very well. Very synergistic to one another, at least for me.